Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my Week 11 NFL predictions. I do these predictions every single week on the channel, so if you would like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, put a like, and let's get into it. First off, we have Thursday Night Football. I have the Patriots winning 37-24. The Falcons are a very inconsistent team, and the Patriots have been getting steadily better every week. I think that our offense is going to do very well against the Falcons' defense, and I think that our defense consistently plays well. The Patriots' defense has not allowed over 25 points very much this season. They gave up 28 to the Saints, and the Cowboys scored 29 in regulation. Other than that, we haven't let up over 25. And so I think that it'll be tough for Atlanta to get any higher than that. I think their offense will have a pretty solid day, considering last week was a down week. But I think they'll try and keep it close, and we'll pull away in the fourth quarter. For the 1 o'clock games, we have Ravens-Bears, Browns-Lions, Bills-Colts, Dolphins-Jets, Panthers-Washington, Saints-Eagles, Packers-Vikings, Titans-Texans, and 49ers-Jaguars. I have the Ravens beating the Bears 34-14. The Ravens are going to come into Chicago. Actually, I'm not sure where the game is, but the Ravens are going to meet the Bears up. And they're going to want revenge from last week. Last week's game was terrible against Miami. They lost to arguably one of the worst teams in the league, and they're not going to do that 2 weeks in a row. For the Browns-Lions game, the Browns winning 28-17. The Browns lost Odell Beckham Jr. last week. Since then, they got demolished by the Patriots 45-7. I think that they, like the Ravens, are going to bounce back this week. If either the Browns or the Ravens lose again this week, that's a really bad sign for them because they're both playing easy opponents. So if either of them lose again this week, then that's a bad sign for their team, and I don't think that they'll be making the playoffs. The Ravens, it's much less of a do-or-die situation, but for Cleveland, this week is do-or-die. Bills-Colts, I have the Bills winning 30-27. The Colts haven't really been involved in many blowouts. They lost fairly decently to the Titans earlier in the season, but generally speaking, most of the Colts games are very close, even if they're against a team that's considerably tougher than them. But they've played a lot of teams really tough, and I think that they could win this game. I have the Bills slated to win, but I really think that the Colts do have the potential to win. I'm rooting for the Colts because I would love to be atop the division. I think the Bills are going to win, but the Colts will definitely keep it close, and Carson Wentz will definitely put the pressure on. Dolphins-Jets have the Dolphins winning 24-17. It's probably going to be like the most boring game of the week. The Dolphins have been more consistently good recently. They beat the Ravens last week. The Jets played a good game against the Bengals, and then they died. So that's the Jets for you. Panthers-Washington, I have the Panthers winning 31-24. With Cam Newton back, I think the Panthers could seriously make a playoff run. Not like far into the playoffs, but like they could make a run to make it to the playoffs. They beat Colt McCoy last week, which isn't really impressive, but they did in fact beat the Cardinals with a dilapidated offense. So I'll give them that. They played well against the Cardinals defense. That being said, I think that they should be able to beat Washington, especially if Cam Newton is the starter. PJ was starter last week because Cam was new to was getting back into football. But the plays that Cam did run all went very well. So I expect the Panthers to continue to have success. Saints-Eagles, I have the Saints winning 31-27. The Eagles have been playing good football recently, and the Saints don't really win a lot of games by a lot. So I think the Eagles will put up a fight. I think the Saints will ultimately come in with the victory because they've lost 2 games in a row. And if they lose another one, then their playoff chances are slowly getting blown away. Especially if the Panthers win, then the Saints will be in the 7th seed. But that being said, I think that the Eagles will play a tough game, but I think that the Saints will come out with the victory because they really need it right now. Packers-Vikings have the Packers winning 27-24. I think that the Vikings will probably split with the Packers. The Vikings always play the Packers tough, and they split a lot of seasons. So I think that 27-24 is a pretty fair score prediction for this game. They play each other tough. It's a divisional matchup. So I don't think the Vikings will win, but I think that they'll make it close. I think that Kirk Cousins will be breathing down Rodgers' neck the whole time. Titans-Texans, have the Titans winning 31-10. There's not much to be said about this game. And for the 49ers-Jaguars, I have the 49ers winning 31-17. 49ers played a great game last week against the Rams. We'll see if it continues. They haven't had too much success since the beginning of the season until now. I think that they should be able to beat the Jaguars, so I'm very curious to see how their team looks next week. For the 4 o'clock games, we have Bengals-Raiders, we have Cardinals-Seahawks, and we have Cowboys-Chiefs. The Raiders are coming off of a 2-game losing streak, and I can see that pattern continuing. They lost to the Giants, and then they lost to the Chiefs, and they didn't look great in either of those games. I think that the Bengals have been also on a losing streak, so one of these two teams is guaranteed to break their losing streak. I think that the Bengals are just in a better position right now. The Raiders have a history of starting off 5-2, 5-3, 6-3, and then completely demolishing themselves at the end of the season and going 7-9, 8-8, 6-10. So I can see the Raiders doing the same thing this season. I think that they'll lose this week to the Bengals. For Cardinals-Seahawks, I have the Cardinals winning 28-20. The Seahawks looked terrible last week. Their defense looked surprisingly good, but Russell Wilson just looked I know that he was coming back from injury, but the Seahawks just looked bad. I think that they'll put up a fight. It's a divisional game. Russell Wilson's obviously not going to get shut out every week, considering he's never been shut out before. But 28-20, I think, is a pretty fair score prediction for this game. And for Cowboys-Chiefs, I have the Cowboys winning 34-30. This is the game of the week, in my opinion. It's very high-flying, high-scoring, two high-powered offenses. And we're really going to see if Patrick Mahomes does his thing once again. Last week against the Raiders, Patrick Mahomes did his thing. He threw for 300 whatever yards and 5 touchdowns. I think that this week against the Cowboys, we're going to see if the Chiefs defense has really figured it out or if the Raiders offense is just dying. And that's the real thing, is if the Chiefs defense is starting to figure it out, then the Chiefs could win this game. But if it was just the Raiders offense being bad, then we'll see. Sunday Night Football, we have Steelers-Chargers. This is also going to be a very good game. This is a massive game for the AFC playoff race. There's going to be a lot of these massive games coming up because in the AFC playoff race, almost every single week between now and the end of the season will have multiple games between playoff contenders. This week we have Steelers-Chargers, we have Bengals-Raiders, we have Bills-Colts. The connection, the interlocking of these teams right now is crazy. There's going to be so many games coming up that are crucial to the AFC playoff race. So Steelers-Chargers, the Steelers are 5-3-1, the Chargers are 5-4. So this is a really big game right here. I think that the Steelers are going to come out with the victory. They've been more consistent the past few weeks. They haven't been playing phenomenal football, especially tying with the Lions. But then again, Big Ben wasn't at quarterback. The Chargers have been playing poor football the last 4 weeks. And I think that the Steelers should be able to hawk on that a little bit, unless the Chargers start turning things around. And for Monday Night Football, we have Buccaneers-Giants. I have the Bucs winning 34-24. I think this should be a pretty straightforward game. Brady doesn't usually lose a lot after a loss. And this was a tough loss last week to Washington. So I don't see Brady losing to two teams in the NFC least. It's possible. I just don't see it happening. So I have the Buccaneers beating the Giants 34-24. So those were my Week 11 NFL predictions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Last week was pretty rough for predictions because I tried picking a couple of upsets and that didn't really work. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. These are my predictions. I'm super hyped to have a Thursday Night Football game this week because we haven't had a Thursday Night Football game yet, and just being able to see your team play early is nice. So I'm super excited for this week. Hopefully the Patriots can go to 7-4, but we'll see. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.